Hello and welcome to a sunny Silverstone for rounds 11 and 12 of the 2017 BRSCC Fiesta Junior Championship. As the championship heads to Silverstone National circuit for the second time this year, the battle lines are drawn for the championship and it could not be closer. Poleman Jack Davidson is 6 points over Nicholas Reeve. Let's have a quick over with Jack and see how he's feeling about it. And Jack, last time you were here at Silverstone it was pretty much a domination for you, wasn't it? Are you hoping for the same?
Yeah, definitely. Just hoping to get a good start and hopefully do the same as last time and drive away.
You've got championship rival alongside you on the front row of the grid. It's going to be close.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just going to try and obviously push as hard as I can, kind of save the tyres a wee bit and then just go for it.
Excellent. Best of luck.
Thank you.
And here is the full grid for race 1, as told by race commentator Richard John Neal.
Thank you, Scott. Jack Davidson on pole position with Nick Reeve alongside James Waite and Scott Scansdale, row 2, Josh Hislop and Matthew Greenwood on row 3. Gus Burton next, Wally Turner, then it's Jamie Lee Hawley and James Hillary, they complete the top 10. 11th is Josh Steed, Magnus Crickley, the newcomer last time out, he's 12th, and Thomas Horton completing the grid. Well, don't forget Bradley Kent's moved up into the senior class, so that's a driver we won't be hearing about in this race. Well, we just have actually, haven't we? But we wish him well on his graduation. The lights are on though for round 11 of this year's championship. Jack Davidson in blue and white from pole position, which is the outside here on the national circuit, gets away well. Nicholas Reeve in second place, the Specialised Motorsport orange livery. Outside line there for Gustav Burton. On the outside of Josh Hislop with James Hillary, race winner at Brands Hatch, in very close attendance. It's a great start by all of these young lads and girl, of course. Let's not forget Jamie Lee Hawley in the mix as well. Bounce over the curb there for Gus Burton. Doesn't unsettle him, but he has got a rather unsettled and deranged mirror, which I think popped off. Very close quarter racing. Well, I was talking about Jamie Lee. We go on board with her. This is the view, a crowded view coming down the Wellington Straight. As you can see, going up to 100 miles an hour, in excess of that, up to 105, 106 miles an hour, then hard on the brakes, down to 55, still an incredible speed on that right-hander. Hislop going wide, having a complete nightmare over the grass, but he's getting stuck in, which I guess is the main thing. But it's a quartet for the lead, headed confidently by the young Scott. Now remember, if you haven't seen this racing before, it's for 14 to 17-year-olds. You can graduate up into senior racing at the age of 16. Senior, of course, is relative, isn't it? I suppose if you're talking about an adult championship, senior becomes rather advancing years, but in junior terms, senior is 16 and above, but you can race in this championship to 17. Matthew Greenwood in the black and green car, currently in third, but coming under pressure from Scott Cansdale, who looks down the inside line. James Hillary in very close attendance as well. It was a little bit unfair to Josh Hislop, to be fair, and he's recovering well. He's looking on the inside line there in black and green, trying to recover. Goes through Beckett onto the main straight again, but it's the young Scott, the championship leader, Jack Davidson, as Scott, our programme presenter, said, has a 6-point lead in the championship after dropped scores from Nicholas Reeve, who is in second place. So the battle between the two of them, very much the battle for the championship. And Reeve bravely taking a wide line there in second place. The orange car went wide to try and gain a little bit of momentum out of Luffield and try and eat into that slight lead that Jack Davidson has. And of course, if he gets momentum, he might be able to pull off the pass. But it was brave because potentially left the door open for Scott Cansdale, who's in third place, to have a nibble at second. But Reeve held his nerve, couldn't quite get the run, but he does hang on to second place, with Cansdale in very close attendance at the moment. Third position in the championship is James Waite. Fourth position is James Hillary, car number 4. So we've got a lot of the front runners up at the sharp end of things in this race. And Scott Cansdale looking to see what he can do about Nick Reeve. But it's Jack Davidson at the moment who is out front, and in terms of race wins, Davidson not that far away from the man who holds the best win percentage in the formula, which is James JJ Ross. And JJ poised to make his Clio Cup debut very soon. And we've had a lot of Fiesta Grand problems for Nick Reeve. He loses second, third, fourth. That's going to be a visit to the pits. Josh Hislop whizzes through on the inside line, and Magnus Kriklevi goes through as well. But the man challenging the race leader, not only for the lead, but the lead of the championship, Nicholas Reeve, is out of this one. A major upset here in race 1. This is round 11 of the 16-round championship, 2 rounds per event, 8 events over the course of the year. We kicked off at Brands Hatch, and as you heard Scott say, the Silverstone round, the previous round, which was rounds 5 and 6, both won by Jack Davidson, picking up his 3rd and 4th wins of the season. And he's had a very, very good season. He was pole position, fastest lap in round number 1. He took pole at Silverstone on the first visit, pole at Rockingham. Nick Reeve, though, responded well, was piling the pressure on at Snet by taking pole position. But Davidson under pressure from Cansdale now, with James Waite, 3rd in the championship, 3rd on the road. Gus Burton, incidentally, is behind James Hillary in the championship standings. And here comes Hislop, having a look here at Burton, dives down the inside, doesn't quite work for him, but you've got to have a go. Hislop wanted to have a go for that position, didn't work out for him, but that lad, great determination, and he's back on the gas. He's going to try and get back into things. So James Hillary going through on the inside line, but look at the lead Jack Davidson's got now. He's got his head down, unsurprisingly has the fastest lap as well in this 20-minute race. Remember, that's the standard format for BRSCC racing. The only thing that would be likely to affect it would be maybe a red flag in the later stages of the race if we'd maybe done 80% and there was a prone car on track. That happens from time to time, not very often though in this junior racing. Number plate askew on Josh Steed's car. Josh, driver looking for his first podium. He's on occasion not too far away from podium positions. Debuted last year in the final round of the championship at Brands Hatch. So a relative newcomer to racing, and this, you're really looking, a bit of a wide moment here on board from Jamie Lee Hawley once again. Going back to talking about Josh Steed, and indeed first full year drivers, you really need the first year, you're really looking at learning your craft. Come back for year 2, and that's when the serious championship challenge can happen. Looking at cross track at Gustav Burton in the 57, or Gus, to his mates, podium finisher, of course, in race number 1 of our 2 at Rockingham. And we've had so many drivers up on the podium, fiercely competitive championship. There is Josh Steed, still cracking on as comes along the main straight here, ticks off another lap, heading down in towards Copse. And you can see, not having lost too much ground there, is Josh Hislop. So Josh Hislop running well. Scott Cansdale is 2nd, James Waite going through in 3rd, Gustav Burton 4th, then it's Ollie Turner in the 22 car, and then James Hillary at the moment coming under pressure from Steed. Steed not close enough to make a move at the minute, so Hillary 4th in the championship. Out of Beckett's corner, race settled down very, very nicely. Davidson still with the fastest lap on lap 8, 1 minute 10.452, averaging shade under 85 miles an hour if you're interested in the speeds that these cars put up. Now bear in mind you've got the very tight and twisty section which they're coming up to, so that will notch the speeds down a bit, but these youngsters really do turn an impressive pace. Remember, we've had a lot of very impressive graduates in this championship over the years. JJ Ross, I was about to mention, I think did mention, is going on to Clio. So where is the future heading for this man, Jack Davidson? You know, one thinks of Aidan Moffat, who's up in the Touring Car Championship. I know I say that a lot, but he's another very successful Scot, and there's 1 Touring Car races now. Maybe that's where Jack Davidson is heading. For the moment, though, Jack's going to be concentrating on this year's championship, and of course, this race. He's clear by over 6 seconds from Scott Cansdale at the minute, and the 21 car, immaculately prepared, on its way through Beckett's, down the Wellington Straight for the last time, and Davidson will knock up yet another win. Remember, he won round 2, he won rounds 4, 5 and 6. Hasn't won since round 6, but he has had podia, had a brace of retirements, which will count for his drop scores, because there are drop scores in his championship as well. But he hasn't put a wheel wrong here. Pole position, He's led from lights out. He was under pressure in the early stages, which he soaked up. He dealt with it. He saw the sad demise of Nick Reeve, who I'm sure he would have been hoping to have had a straight race with. Scott Cansdale tried to mount the challenge but hasn't been able to do so, and it's Jack Davidson who is going to take the win. Scott Cansdale, I'm sure, is going to hang on to second position. Davidson wins again, extends the championship lead. Scott Cansdale, there he is in second place. He's clear of the third place driver James Waite, so it's Davidson, Cansdale and Waite on the podium. Gus Burton takes fourth place ahead of Ollie Turner. Sixth position goes to James Hillary. Seventh was Josh Steed. Eighth, Matt Greenwood. Then Jamie Lee Hawley and Magnus Cricklivy completing the top 10. Tom Horton and Josh Hislop next. Sadly, non-finish for Nick Reeve. Fastest lap, Jack Davidson.
Jack, another win to add to your 2017 tally, and that again, as it was in May, looked relatively straightforward.
Yeah, well, it's not as straightforward as that. Off the start, it was a wee bit slow off the start, and Nicholas managed to just get behind me. But other than that, I just kind of tried just to keep pushing on the whole time.
It's crucial points again to keep you in the championship lead, so put you on back on pole for race 2 as well.
Yeah, definitely. That'll definitely help with the championship, and hopefully we can do it again.
Fingers crossed. Great drive. Well done.
Thank you.
Scott, you picked your first podium up here last time in May, and once again, second place. You've done it again.
Yeah, well, we had a great start from fourth up into second. We just went on from there. Nick, we went up the inside of him, and as we did, he suddenly had a problem. So we got up into second, kept up with Jack, and then the tyres and brakes started to go off towards the end. We really had to fight with the car, and James was catching me, but yeah.
Of course, that means that you've got more points towards the championship. You start to keep rising up the table.
Yeah, well, we're joint ninth for the moment, and obviously now we're going up. A top 6 would be nice. We've got two rounds left, so we're just going to see what we can do.
It's front row for race 2. Could be all to play for.
Yeah, we'll try, see if we can do the same again, and maybe one step further.
Well done, great drive.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, Joe, it was another third place for you. You just keep racking them up, don't you?
Yeah, it's great to have another podium. We've been off it for quite a while this year after bad race at Snetterton. But ultimately, I just want to say a massive thanks to Jam Sport for all the help and support they've given us for the last 2 years.
So on to race 2 here at Silverstone with Jack Davidson on pole and Scott Cansdale on the front row alongside him. And Nicholas Reeve, after his race run retirement, starts right at the back in 13th and last. He's going to be a key man to watch coming through the grid, and let's hear that grid with Richard now as they head up for race 2.
Thank you very much, Scott. Pole position then to race 1 winner Jack Davidson, and then it is Scott Cansdale from James Waite and Gus Burton, Ollie Turner and James Hillary row 3, Josh Steed and Matt Greenwood on row 4. Row 5, Jamie Lee Hawley and Magnus Cricklivy, Thomas Horton and Josh Hislop row 6. Nick Reeve due to make the start but isn't there, so he made it to assembly but has not made it onto the starting grid for round 12 of the championship. Watch for the lights on the gantry. There they are, about to get underway. Race 2 here of the weekend, race 4 of the year at Silverstone. And on board with Jamie Lee Hawley once again, Josh Hislop. Very quick start, rapid start by Hislop, who goes through and on the inside line. Progress there as well by Thomas Horton through on the inside line. We've got an oil line on the outside, you can see, with the dust down on it. Watch the track limits. Jamie Lee Hawley pretty much spot on for track limits there, but it's Jack Davidson out front once again. Scott Cansdale is in second. Gus Burton third, being challenged by James Waite. Some good midfield battling going on there with Josh Steed chasing Matthew Greenwood. Josh Hislop immediately in behind. Then the red car of Magnus Cricklivy, the young Dane who joined us for the first time at Snetterton. Picked up a top 10 there in his first race. Was back in the top 10 for race number 1 here, but it's Jack Davidson leading the way, extending his championship lead. Nicholas Reeve, by not starting this one, was there a little touch there on the back of the 17 car of James Waite? He held that very well indeed. It's close quarter racing here, and it's no wonder that the juniors, wherever they are in the field on the juniors, when they make the move up into other formulae, make an immediate impression on the 17-year-old plus drivers in senior formulae. Gus Burton racing well, he's after a podium, but for Jack Davidson, he unofficially, of course, we don't have a Silverstone Championship. You can see the orange Specialised Motorsport car in the pit lane. I think that is Nick Reeve. He did make it to assembly, but we're hearing there was a leak from the car, and he's not able to take it, so he's going to drop down the order. He's going to be third, maybe fourth in the championship standings after this race and after drop scores as well. James Hillary working hard. Hillary looking to get up into the top 3 of the standings, which he might well do at the expense of Reeve here. Davidson, if he can hold on, will extend the lead. And he's got the race lead here. Fastest lap in race number 1. Pole position, virtually perfect. I love the way he said in the interview he's not keen on Silverstone. Normally a driver will love the car and love the circuit if they develop a winning habit here. And he's driving very well indeed. And, you know, we might even look back and see him racing in Clios or touring cars or GTs or whatever here at Silverstone years to come. Remember, he's not his favourite circuit, but he's away and down the road. Great racing from these 14 to 17-year-olds once again, though. And James Hillary chasing hard. One of many race winners this year. James Hillary was mentioned in race 1, won the opening race here at Brands Hatch. Jack Davidson, championship leader, has 5 wins under his belt. Brands, Cadwell, 3 here at Silverstone. Hillary won at Brands. Nick Reeves won 3 races. Brace Snett won at Cadwell Park. James Waite won at Rockingham. Scott Cansdale won at Rockingham as well. So the wins have been shared out. Nobody is claiming a monopoly on race wins this year, although Davidson, of course, slightly clearer than the others in terms of the number of race wins. But they've been shared around, and it shows how good this championship is. Here comes Davidson then, down in towards Brooklands again. Cansdale second, Waite in third place. Gus Burton coming under pressure here from James Hillary. Has a look on the inside line. Is he going to be able to do it and make his way through? No, he can't. Then we got the 22 of Ollie Turner. Ollie, the man from Evesham, looking to pile some pressure on the 22 car. Debut man this year at Brands Hatch on the 9th of April. First podium for him at Snetterton, so he'll obviously happily take that away. Magnus Krickleby in the 66, up ahead of Josh Steed. Here's the view again from Jamie Lee Hawley, car number 35, the Widnesian, as my colleague Paul O'Neill would say. And another driver made her debut this year. In fact, we've only got drivers that have raced in 2016 and 2017 in the lineup this weekend. Nobody starting as far back as 2015, because they all tend to be so successful in junior racing that as soon as they hit 16, they have the opportunity to move on to other things, move into senior racing, start to make their mark there. So the championship really, and I've said this before, very difficult for championship organisers to run junior championships now, as the 22 car Oliver Turner goes down the inside line and he's going to make the pass on James Hillary. Textbook pass into Brooklands, and Hillary was saw him coming through on the gap. You can see the momentum the 22 car's got, and Ollie Turner hanging on to it. Hillary rightly is now trying to go back at him, but a lesser driver would have chopped across the front, but Hillary didn't do that. He saw that the 22 car was down. It was good awareness from him that Oliver Turner was coming through. And Turner makes up the position. Hillary down one, but I've absolutely no doubt, will fight back. Here's the view from Jamie Lee Hawley. Magnus Krickleby still racing newcomer, you can see from the yellow square on the back of the car. And Jamie Lee Hawley goes through. Super double pass there from Jamie Lee Hawley. The Specialised Motorsport car runs a little bit wide, too much momentum. Potentially, whack of the finger there as well. Potentially track limits, but only if you continually do it. Once is fine. But it's a continuation of that causes the problem. There is the outfield shot of Jamie Lee Hawley, up ahead of the young Dane. So Magnus Krickleby trying to close down and get the position back, but it's Jack Davidson still up front from Scott Cansdale. Go back to talking about administration of junior championships. When you've only got your driving lineup for potentially 2 years, but essentially you've got them for 3 years, 14 to 17. But as I said, a lot of these drivers moving on after 2 seasons, and all of the drivers that we've got here raced last year and this year, nobody from before that. So effectively what you're saying with the success of this championship, the more successful it is, the more difficult it is to keep drivers in it longer. And of course when the drivers move on, you have to replace them, and that's what the BRSCC do year after year. They bring in new drivers, and it's the appeal, the way the championship looks, the way it's run, that keeps youngsters coming in and learning their craft. And, you know, I'll harp on again about Aidan Moffat, JJ Ross, Jack Mitchell, of course, Charlie Liddell, Freddie Lee, who went on to win the pickup truck championship last year, all products of this wonderful championship. And we're going to see some more very big names coming through, including those on circuit now. Jack Davidson, though, has been the Sultan of Silverstone. He's making his way, by the look of it, through to another win. And he is away in the distance. Very good racing going on down behind him. Here is Davidson. Look for the gap back. Huge gap. Race number 1, 7.2 seconds. He won race 1 by. It was a 17 lapper over the course of the 20 minutes. Ollie Turner and Gustav Burton about to engage in battle. There is Turner in the 22 car trying to hunt him down. So Turner goes through Beckett's. This could again be about that run down the Wellington Straight and into Brooklands Corner, the left hand. You want to sneak down on the inside line. That is if there is a gap there. James Waite immediately ahead of them, and you can see that Gus Burton's got it covered. He's very well aware of what Oliver Turner wanted to do there. He has lots of momentum into the corner, a little bit of drifting, and this is going to allow Turner maybe to have a nibble. Turner going wide here at Luffield. Is he going to get the cut back on the road out of Luffield and into Woodcote? I don't think he is, but certainly the intention was there. Great little dice between these two. So Burton and Turner, we've got Scott Cansdale still there in second place, and these guys dicing over fourth position at the moment. And again, Turner has a look down the inside, goes back for the sweep around Copse Corner turn 1. Here's the leader, Jack Davidson, fastest lap on lap 3, 70.271. It's actually faster than he did in race 1, so he's turned up the wick, but the other drivers are still close, so they've improved their game as well, and probably because they're all learning the circuit. This is the second time this year, but they'll all build confidence in the circuit. Josh Hislop trying to catch up with Matthew Greenwood. Greenwood in turn chasing Josh Steed, the youngster from St Albans. Good three-way scrap between those two. Then Jamie Lee Hawley in orange coming under pressure from Magnus Crickley. He's going to look on the outside line there. Here's the view from the opposite end of the straight. James Hillary coming towards us. Down on the inside line again goes Hislop. A little bit too far back to deal with Matt Greenwood at this time. Greenwood keeping it nice and defensive, nice and tight on the way into Brooklands. Hislop looks to the outside line again. Wide line at Luffield for Hislop. There's Jamie Lee Hawley. Now, where is Magnus Crickley? He's managed to shake Magnus off for the moment. So, Jamie running in 10th place, Magnus in 11th, Thomas Hawley. Oh, my goodness me! That is a huge accident. That, without question, we've got green flags after it, but that is going to be a red flag, and it's Gustav Burton and Ollie Turner. Turner's car upside down. I hope that they are both okay. We wish them both very, very well indeed. They were dicing over 4th place, and a massive shunt to bring the day to a close. Jack Davidson taking the win from Scott Cansdale and James Waite. James Hillary 4th from Josh Steed. Matthew Greenwood 6th from Josh Hislop and Jamie Lee Hawley. Magnus Crickley being next from Thomas Horton. Sadly non-finish for Messrs Burton and Turner. We wish them well.
Jack, I think it's what we call the Grand Slam pretty much. That's 2 wins from pole position. I think fastest lap on each as well. You seem to be pretty rocking around Silverstone.
Yeah, it's not my favourite track, but obviously it's one that I'm pretty decent at, and I've had quite a lot of success here, so yeah, I'm quite happy.
It's got 2 second places, 2 big hauls of points. That's a pretty satisfying weekend.
Yeah, it's been a hard weekend with tyre issues. Keep going off towards the end and throughout the race, so we've really had been pushing this weekend. But I'd just like to say thank you to Gary Cooper and Cooper's Cabin for helping me with the tyres and new gearbox, which has allowed us to get these 2 second places this weekend.
James, another successful weekend for you, 2 third places, and key thing is it's lots of points.
Yeah, double podiums give us lots of points in the championship, and as Nicholas Reeves is quite far down the pack, it's given us a good chance for 2nd place in the championship.
Because you're holding on to a pretty steady 3rd, it seems to be a good run of fortune so far.
Yeah, we've been getting consistent points throughout the year, so hopefully we can just score more podiums maybe next round, and we should be there on the podium.